295 AV 1069 FM. Broadcasting live from the ESPN Radio Winchester studios, breaking down all the chaos from the weekend. It's time for Mayhem Monday on Franklin County's favorite morning show, The Starting Lineup, fueled by Loco Coffee. And now for your hosts, Joe Abraham and Chewy.
And good morning. Welcome into the Starting Lineup, ESPN Radio, 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. I am Joe Abraham, and in studio with me on this gloomy Monday morning, this Mayhem Monday, is the master of mayhem, the master of mischief as well, the Wookiee one. Good morning, Chewy. How are you today?
I'm okay. How about yourself?
He's like, looking at me? I don't start trouble. Did you have a good weekend, my friend?
I did. It was an interesting weekend. Brett Crabtree's already in the chat.
Of course he is.
So
Got nothing better to do than comment on this show.
So be like Brett, jump in the FMO Facebook stream this morning, as we always say. But yeah, it was an alright weekend. I saw Spider-Man.
I was going to ask you. Okay.
Saw it twice. Well, okay, there's a good reason I saw it twice this time.
Yes.
My brother, he was the one who really wanted to go watch it.
Yeah.
And
your brother's like a webhead, you told me. He's got
yeah.
a head that's full of webs.
For people, like a good comparison.
Also like Spider-Man.
Yeah. My thing, like for me, Chewie is to Star Wars as William is to Spider-Man, basically.
Yeah.
And so he was super hyped about this movie. So we go and we watch it, and homeboy falls asleep in the half. You know, because he's just now entering like his mid-20s.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I remember
long day at work.
he works like late shift at Home Depot, and he's lifting boxes, so he was exhausted. And he's like, I took a nap this afternoon and everything, you know. And poor boy, he passes out, and he was like, can we go watch it again? And I was like, yeah, we can go watch it again. So we went to Oldham again, and went and rewatched it. Packed. Dude.
Yeah, I saw a lot of folks wearing their Spider-Man gear, all the things, which I remember.
I saw Troy Parsons Jr.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I ran into him.
See, all like walk in his Spider-Man costume.
No, I just it was funny. I was on my way out, and he was on his way in, and I was like,
that's funny.
Of all the people.
Speaking of, I remember when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans came out and how everybody was so excited about those. But I just, in my head, when I said that about the walking in a Spider-Man costume, I had this disturbing image of you wearing a Spider-Man, like a skin-tight Spider-Man costume.
Yeah, I don't think I should be in a leotard.
No,
like that, yeah.
Like beard hanging out the bottom and everything.
It's like the pants and the shirt don't meet, so it's just like half my guts just hanging out.
Well, what's the Marvel guy, not Captain America, the Russian version of Captain America? That's who, That's who you kind of remind me of.
Yeah. That's sort of where I'm leaning a little bit more. I'll take that as a compliment. Brett Crabtree and I actually, so he's talking about the fact that we saw he had a, like, you know how you have a Bigfoot sighting? He had a Chewie sighting.
Wookiee sighting.
Yeah, when he was, we passed each other going to Walmart.
Yeah. Well, if anybody ever, sees a Wookiee in and around town, this is where you drop. Hey, I saw the Wookiee at this place. Saw the Wookiee at that place.
If you come see me, come say hi.
Yeah.
Come say you watched the show.
Take pictures and post them on social media like I did that one time and went viral. I said, oh, look, I ran into a famous guy over at Jefferson's. And people lost their mind on Facebook trying to figure out who the heck you were.
That was so
Apparently
funny.
You're not famous
No,
enough.
I'm not. And that was the funny part is like everybody, they got posted on Telehome Unfiltered and people were like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Crosby?
Yeah, and then somebody was like, there's Crosby. And I was like, Someone in the comments was like, I saw him at Good Game dressed as a wizard.
Oh gosh. Oh man. Yeah, that's the weirdo wizard of Winchester. Okay, so speaking of which, before we get into the show today, which here coming up in the next few minutes, Rachel Shields is going to be bringing in Chris Hawkersmith, both of them obviously with the Franklin County School Board. They're going to be joining us this morning to talk about their new tobacco policy here within the school district. But before we get into all of the hard-hitting Franklin County, Winchester, topics and things like that, I and this goes back to the whole Spider-Man thing, and also weirdos like you. I discovered something today. It was actually this morning. As I was scrolling through, I had one of those weird conspiracy vidges pop up on my feed, right? And so I particularly liked, this was a new one. This is something that I had not seen in my feed before, so I particularly liked this one. So I clicked on the page to go over to the page to see what other type of vidges they had. And sure enough, what I discovered when I clicked over to that page was at the top, it shows you who of your friends likes it.
Yeah.
And who else is also weird.
Yeah.
That is my new favorite thing to do. I am going to now have to go back to all of the weird stuff that I like and or watch on my Facebook page, go to their actual pages and check and see who else is weird like me. What was quite disturbing about this was some of the names that were on there that liked and followed that particular one were people I would not have expected. But what was disturbing was how many of them there were.
Yeah.
And I realized there are a lot of weirdos like us out there, my friend.
Oh yeah, Facebook could bring like the closet weirdo out of you, like the murder podcasts and like all like the spooky story, and you're like, why are you? And you see like some person that you've known your whole life, and you're like, you're here,
yeah.
It's kind of, and Instagram's worse because it'll show you what you've liked. Like, and so you'll be scrolling through like an offensive meme, and you'll see like all your little douchebag friends.
Yeah,
they all liked it too. And you're like, we go to church together, and I know you're not supposed to be watching this kind of thing.
We made it 7 minutes into the show before you used that word. So I think that's a good point, because when I am scrolling through my video, my doom scroll videoing that I do sometimes, we all do. Come on, we all by now. When I'm doing that and I swipe up and I'm swiping up and then I find one that's really funny or really offensive or whatever the case is, and I see your face next to it, that you liked it, I'm like, oh, yep, I know what Chewy's been doing.
Clint Powers jumped in saying, good morning, guys. Good morning, Clint Powers.
Clint. Be careful what you like and what you comment on and what you share and all those things. What is Brett Crabtree saying?
He says, Joe, I thought you had a chip on your shoulder, but then I realized it's just Plank. It does look like Plank is like a parrot on your shoulder this morning.
Plank is my sidekick. Then there's Chewy too. Chewy's just like here, but Plank's, if for people who were wondering, Plank has recently become my best friend.
Well, Plank is the real one. He shows up and doesn't even get paid.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah. I mean,
talk about dedication.
This is a similar situation to you. But sometimes you get pizza.
Well, yeah, and you know what? You let me come in and use the air conditioning, so I'm all about it.
All right, so here in the first hour, we will be joined shortly, like I said, by Rachel Shields and Chris Hawkersmith. In fact, I believe they just came through the front door. There they are. So we'll take a quick break and get them in their seats, get them comfy and cozy, and then get into it with them. And we may be able to wrap up our time with them by having them join us with trivia this morning, which is coming up at 7:40. You won't want to miss. Again, Drafts and Watercrafts trivia coming up later today. And we'll do all of that and much, much more today on the show. It is the starting lineup. It is a Mayhem Monday, and we are off and running. We'll be back on the other side. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
two patients are alike. High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas delivers care centered around your health, your goals, your story, your recovery. From routine checkups to critical procedures, we use today's medical technology and advanced clinical practices to help you feel better, recover faster, and return home to the community you love. We don't just specialize in care, we specialize in you. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at reliablerentalfc.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
Now, here's your ESPN Radio Winchester weather forecast. Brought to you by our official smile partner, Dr. Garrett Orr and Winchester Family Dentistry.
Starting off our morning with patchy fog and mostly cloudy, then becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees this afternoon and some calm winds to keep you nice and cool on this very hot summer's day. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester for all of your wonderful weather updates.
At ESPN Radio Winchester, we're proud to welcome Winchester Family Dentistry and Dr. Garrett Orr as our official smile partner. From routine cleanings and family dental care to helping you feel confident about your smile, Winchester Family Dentistry is committed to caring for patients with comfort, professionalism, and a hometown touch. Whether you're due for a checkup or looking for a dental team you can trust, call Dr. Garrett Orr and Winchester Family Dentistry, proud smile partner of ESPN Radio Winchester.
There was an outline for today's show, but it didn't survive the opening segment. Back to Joe and Chewy on the starting lineup right here on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. I am Joe Abraham along with Chewy. We are joined now this morning by Rachel Shields with the school district.
Good morning. How are you?
I am tremendous. And you brought with you this morning Chris Hawkersmith, a familiar face to a lot of folks here in town. And Chris is the Director of Coordinated School Health and Safety and some other things that you're telling me in the break.
Yes,
got a lot of,
we'll leave those
titles
off.
there on his shoulders. But the reason that you brought Chris with us this morning is we got some, I consider this really exciting news for folks who have been in and around the school district, have kids in and around the school district. You know, there have been in recent years concerns about the tobacco and vaping policies and how they're implemented and how you guys are able to kind of, I don't know, just handle situations like that across the district. And you have a new policy in place now that you feel like is going to be a lot better across the board. Talk a little bit about the new policy that you've got.
Okay. Well, I joined forces with the Prevention Coalition.
Yeah.
And they had approached me, and it's been months and months ago, about strengthening a policy that's very moderate. The state grades them, and ours came back very moderate. And attached with that was discipline, which was also, in my opinion, was kind of weak. And not weak because I don't think the principals were doing enough. It's just weak because there was not additional support.
Yeah.
So every year we have a big Coordinated School Health Institute, and there were some other school districts that had implemented some new policies in their vape that were very effective. So after seeing that and talking with those directors and with the Prevention Coalition, I decided, you know what, we're going to implement something that's goes past moderate and is much stronger. So we I got the information from the other districts and kind of molded it for our district. But every district's a little bit different, so I molded it for our district. Got with the Prevention Coalition, went through the board, of course, and we really strengthened our policy. And inside of that, we strengthened the consequences.
Right.
I won't say discipline so much as just there are consequences to actions. So I guess we can get into what those are and why. And my biggest concern is, and with my job title, I'm in this district to make sure our kids stay healthy and to make sure they stay safe. And unfortunately, about every block or every quarter mile, we either have a vaping store or we have a gas station that puts right up front and center every kind of vape you could imagine.
Right.
And they're very attractive. Like the flavors, the look, the design, it attracts the kid's eye.
They are putting every kind of flavor, and it's not centered towards adults. Mm-hmm. It is geared toward our youth, because if they can get you hooked on something now, well, they have a customer for life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's a shorter life because of the consequences of vaping after so many years or smoking. But we have a problem. It's a nationwide problem, but Tennessee ranks one of the highest is problem with vaping in young folks. And just here in Franklin County, we have a problem. We had 80-something incidents at the high school last year and several at the middle schools. When I was a principal at Deckard Elementary, I probably took up 12 or 15 vapes from 4th and 5th graders. Wow. It is trickling down, and it is because the draw is the new thing, the safer, quote-unquote, way of smoking, and it's not. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into what we're doing about that in a minute.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. It does. They dress them up like they're flavors of bubblegum or something like that. It is kind of ridiculous when you consider all of the things that the federal government does to limit smoking and put things on the language on things, packages of different types of nicotine and other things like that. But they're still allowing this type of decoration and design on these things that attract these youth. But this is, as far as Franklin County's new tobacco policy, it's more than just about, and you kind of touched on it there a little bit, Chris, it's more than just a new list of punishments. This is changing a way that you guys handle these violations across the board, treating them as both discipline issues, but also a health issue, like you mentioned.
Correct. And the way we're going to address this, when we'll just go in, it's a tiered system.
Okay.
So let's just say a student gets caught vaping or with a vape, and it's in possession of or vaping anywhere on campus. This isn't just inside the school. This is cars. It's on campus, and that includes football games, and the school bus is an extension of the school day. So it's also on the school bus, just so we're all clear on that. But first time you get caught with a vape, you will be assigned a Saturday school. Now, it's a 4-hour Saturday school with a class called In Depth. Now, I've hired 2 instructors and from a grant from the coalition to teach this class. During the first hour of the class, a parent or guardian has to attend.
Oh, wow.
So that's not and I've heard, and if you want to open up Facebook, we'll hear that we don't punish the parents. It's not a punishment for parents. This is us giving you an opportunity to join us in helping your student. If they're vaping or have a vape, join us in helping them get off the vape. It's their health that we're worried about. And it's also a deterrent. I just had my daughter graduated. She's headed to college next Friday. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, I can see the pain in your eyes.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
My other one just got married, and she's out. So me and my wife looked at each other last night and said, "It's me and you, babe.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you like me."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 25 years. We're good, but so
Sorry,
anyway.
Michelle.
I heard that, Rachel. I got the earphones on. But we're given an opportunity. If my daughter for anything, much less a vape, called me and said, Dad, I need you to come up here to the school. I got in trouble.
Yeah.
Number one, it's don't worry, school. I'm not going to be blaming you. You may not see her for a couple of days, but I'm not blaming. But number two, if she came to me and said, Dad, by the way, I was caught with a vape and you have to come to Saturday school with me, then her whole world was going to change. I guarantee she's going to be off the vape. So it's a deterrent. I would hope that a student would not want to get caught with a vape or maybe decide vaping's not for me. If I get caught, number one, I got to go Saturday school for 4 hours. But number two, a parent or guardian has to come with me.
Yeah.
So we use that as a deterrent, but we also use it as education. Before, we were just taking a student and saying, all right, you're in ISS or ISD for 3 days. Okay, that's it. Do your homework, use it as a study hall, or maybe we have some assignments from your classes. But now there is a class taught that's going to educate the student and the parent, because we do have some parents out there that do allow I know this is going to be shocking, but they allow kids to vape.
Yeah.
About how dangerous it is and what it's doing to your child's lungs. And parents, you'll get some education on that. It's your business if you want to vape. It's dangerous. But what we're doing is trying to take care of your student, and we're going to. So we want to use you to help us help your student get off the vapes, because they're addictive. They're not just carrying them around to be cool.
Absolutely.
Once they start vaping, nicotine is the most addictive drug. They are probably hooked on them. They're having trouble going 7 hours a day and not hitting a vape. They need help. We need you to help us. It's a consequence, and it's allowing you, giving you the opportunity to get on board with us. Show up there at Saturday school, see what that class is all about. You stay for the first hour.
Yeah. I think that right there, and you mentioned it's not necessarily a punishment for the parents. I think that is probably one of the most important parts of the process is, regardless of how you feel about vaping or whether or not you allow your kids to vape, that is your business. But the standard is the expectation is the expectation within the school district, and it's not going to be allowed. It's not going to be permitted. Period. End of story. And that is the rule. And so, again, I think that accountability for everybody involved is the first step. And so much today, people like to avoid accountability.
Oh, yes.
Whether it's just going to church and, taking accountability for, some of the things that we do in life versus, again, situations like this. But how can we ever make positive change if we don't first look in the mirror and look at the person, staring back at us and address those things? So that's the first step.
That's first step.
That's tier one.
That's just tier one. We're serious about the health of our kid. I mean, tier two, you come back. Apparently it didn't take.
Yeah.
You come back for the full 4 hours, and your parent stays for the full 4 hours.
Ooh. There
are some breaks in there, but the parent does stay for the full 4 hours the next time. Hopefully. Now, the statistics from the other districts, it rarely ever gets, 1% gets to tier 3.
Oh, wow.
So that's huge there. They're just not getting caught 3 times. I don't know if it's because we're actually educating them. I hope that's it. Or they just got better at hiding it or something. I don't know. But hopefully by an 8-hour class, it has helped make some correct decisions. Or mom or dad or whoever has said, look, do not make me come back to that class.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to kill you or something, All right, then tier 3 is the class again. 4-hour class with the parent, but it's a direct ticket to alternative school.
Oh, wow.
Now, you get 45 days in alternative school. If you don't show up for that last Saturday, and I'm going to rewind just in a second, but if you don't show up to that last Saturday, it's increased to 60 days at alternative school. During that 60 or 45 days or 60 days at alternative school, the Prevention Coalition has a team that also goes in, and they're going to do an extensive class on, again, the dangers, but they are going to follow that up with, we're going to help you along this 45 days stop the habit. Because if you're caught 3 times, you're so addicted that you need another level of help. So it's going to be kind of a stop program.
Yeah.
And it's called kind of a stop program or something.
Quit kit. The quit kit.
Yes, a quit kit. Glad you said
I
quit
know.
kit. Say that 3 times real fast. But the quit kit. So they will be steered toward, we got to get you off.
Yeah. Because at that point in time, what you're talking about is there is something more going on than just
exactly.
I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to bring it to school. I don't want to sit through another one of these classes, but I can't. I can't stop.
I can't stop.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's hard to tell a smoker, hey, just don't do it for 7 hours, and that's it. That's hard to do. I'm going to rewind just a second.
Yeah.
Tier 1, you're assigned to Saturday school.
Yeah.
If you don't show,
that's what I was going to ask.
You jump to Tier 2.
Okay.
You don't
it immediately gets worse.
It immediately gets worse. If you don't show for Tier 2, you jump to Tier 3. You're headed on. It's just insubordination.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to follow our new rule and guideline, then you're going to head on over to the alternative school.
Yeah.
So there is consequences for not owning up to your mistake.
Yeah. Well, and there should be. Again, I think that accountability is the first step. Now, Alice Davis jumped in the chat, and she mentioned, back in my day, we had a smoking section like at the school. Chris, was that during your time?
I'm not saying a word about that. I will say there was a restroom that was considered
unofficial.
That was unofficial, and no one ever went down there to check on us. But you could cut through the smoke with a knife. But when you had smoking sections, unfortunately, that kind of encouraged it, I think.
Right.
But, hey, it's okay. We'll even have you a section to do it.
Right. Well, there were a lot of things that were different back in the day. I mean,
we've just learned so much.
Yeah, lead paint, asbestos, kids riding in the car without seatbelts. I mean, there are a lot of things that were okay back then. I think that this is tremendous. Now, so you guys have obviously done your research on this through looking at the other school districts and how it's been handled and things. Ultimately, though, and you've touched on it, the ultimate goal here is to not only create a safer and healthier environment for these kids, but it goes back to the education environment as well. The goal is to help across the board. And there have been so many people in the past who have felt targeted or whatever the case is for their kid or their consequences or their situation. And this is a standard across the board for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, who your parents are, whatever the case is, this is how it's going to be handled.
This is for the grades 6 through 8. So all of our secondary students. It's not just in the high school. It is starting in the middle school in grade 6.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's to the point where I have students come and say, look, I can't even go in the restroom without breathing that stuff.
Yeah.
And there is a thing called secondhand smoke or whatever. I mean, you come in and they say it's a puff of smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not only trying to protect the ones that are vaping, but these kids that came and go in a restroom without everybody vaping in there. So it's like you said, it's across the board. And speaking of across the board, we're not just talking about kids here. Teachers, if you're listening, sorry,
okay,
you're not smoking out on outside your classroom.
Yeah.
SRO, sorry, no,
not on campus.
No dips while you're walking around campus or puffing outside the classroom window. We are the example.
Yeah.
And students can't just say, well, Miss such and such or Mr. such and such or the SRO, especially the police. Well, they're vaping right out. We can see them outside our classroom. It is a nicotine policy. So if you're that hooked, you better be very secretive, because and on the adult level, the principals will take care of that.
Yeah.
But people will ask, well, how's it go for the adults? And the last time I did this, we did the video on Facebook. Someone said, well, what about those parents in the pickup line? Well, the principal's going to go down there and knock on the window like I did at Deckard several times and say, we don't do that here in the pickup line. If you don't like it, and I have to tell you a few times, then you're just going to be banned from campus.
Yeah.
We got to follow the rules if we're going to make them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And again, the idea is that everybody gets held to the same standard. Let me ask you this, because I know that you got to run. If a kid comes to you preemptively and says, listen, so we just got done with summer break. I've been puffing on this thing all summer, and I don't know if I can go through a 7-hour day, and this is going to be really hard for me. Is there a way that we can help these kids preemptively and kind of help them to come off of those things? What does that look like, or is there a plan for that yet?
We can go ahead, if they're willing to, and get them in an after-school program at the Prevention Coalition.
Okay. They
have some of these classes that they would be glad to open up for these kids that say, look, I can't stop.
Yeah.
And you're a kid and you come to school, you've been vaping on the way. You walk in, you're like, oh, crap, it's in my pocket. Go up there and just turn it in. Say, here, this is in my pocket. I'm not getting caught with it. You're good. Your parent's going to come back and get it.
Yeah.
But we're not just going to say, hey, man, at the end of the day, here's your vape back.
Right.
But if you're just not trying not to get in trouble and you have it on you before school, either leave it in your car or something like that. Because if you bring it in, you're caught with it.
Yeah.
I just want to give one quick shout out, just to kind of go back to your question, to the Prevention Coalition. We are so fortunate for their partnership. They walked side by side with Chris through this whole time. And I know that at any point, a student, a parent, anyone could reach out to them, tell them what's going on, and they would be more than willing to step in and help. And aside from just vaping, I think there's so many other resources that they can help our students and their families with.
Classes. They have loads of
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Mr. Smith and Miss Felicia Kelsey and the entire team at the Prevention Coalition, because they are a great resource, and we are so thankful for their partnership.
Well, I am appreciative to both of you. I'm appreciative, Chris. I know that, being the face of this thing and you're going to upset a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of frustrated parents and things like that. So,
I've already seen that.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you, kind of stepping in front of this one and taking one for the team on it, because, again, ultimately it is about these kids, about their health, about their future, and about the district and what's best. So thank you for that. I know it's not easy kind of being the person that takes the lead on something like that. So good job by you. But I know that you got to get on. You got CPR classes and things like that to teach this morning. So we'll let you head out. But when we come back, we will be joined in studio with more from Miss Rachel Shields on the other side. It is a Mayhem Monday. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
When you're looking for great food, cold drinks, and a fun place to catch the game, make it Jefferson's in Winchester. From wings and burgers to oysters, appetizers, and more. Jefferson's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, or just a night out with friends and family. This fall, Jefferson's is also proud to host the Franklin County Coaches Show with Johnny Hand all season long. Good food, local sports, and hometown pride. It's all happening at Jefferson's in Winchester. There are all kinds of guys out there. Sports guys, hunting guys, even those DIY guys. Well, let's be honest, not every guy's built the same. We're garage guys. We show up on time, we do the job right, and we don't cut corners. From installs to repairs, we take pride in doing it right the first time. Serving Franklin, Coffee, Bedford, Lincoln, and Moore County, it's quality work you can trust. So call Garage Guys today, or find them online at garageguys931.com. Garage Guys, built different.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
The Franklin County Sheriff's Office has announced that 1-year-old Lily Hill has been safely located after an Amber Alert was issued earlier this week. Investigators say Lily was taken by her non-custodial mother, Casey Hill, who was wanted on charges including aggravated kidnapping, child endangerment, and felony evading. Authorities located the vehicle in Cartersville, Georgia, after an automated license plate reader alerted law enforcement. Casey Hill was taken into custody, and officials confirmed that Lily was found safe. In a separate investigation, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office reports 2 arrests following a narcotics investigation involving alleged drug sales near a school. Search warrants executed at 2 residences resulted in the seizure of suspected marijuana, THC products, mushroom edibles, more than $25,000 in cash, cell phones, and additional evidence. Hayden George Ray and Destin Jeremiah Ray each face multiple felony charges, including manufacturing and delivering controlled substances, maintaining a dwelling for drug purposes, and violating the Drug-Free School Zone Act. Investigators say the searches are part of a broader effort by the Sheriff's Office Narcotics Division, which has also seized fentanyl, methamphetamine, prescription drugs, firearms, and vehicles during the ongoing investigations over the past 2 months. And the countdown is on for the start of a new school year in Franklin County. Classes begin in just 1 week, and Franklin County Schools is preparing to welcome students back on August 7th. District officials say 41 new educators are joining the school system this year and will be stepping into classrooms across the county. Parents are also encouraged to begin easing students back into their school routines by establishing earlier bedtimes, serving healthy meals, and offering plenty of encouragement as the first day of school approaches. For details on these stories and more, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Finebaum Show.
Check in scissor hands. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but what's the secret to a good haircut?
A good haircut makes you feel confident. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, when you get that haircut, you're going to walk out that barbershop, you're going to look in the mirror, and you're going to be like, yeah, that's it. And you're going to tip the barber.
The Paul Finebaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
Tune into the starting lineup on the FMO Facebook feed. Just go to Facebook.com/ESPN Winchester. Now, back to Joe and Chewy.
Back here on ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham and Chewy, joined by Miss Rachel Shields, the secondary supervisor with the Franklin County School District. And Miss Rachel, just to kind of wrap up our conversation that we were having there in the last segment, I love the concept and what you guys have rolled out. I think that accountability and assistance don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? They're not opposites. You guys, as a school district, you can tell a student, hey, you broke the rule and there will be consequences, while also admitting that the teenager may have a nicotine dependency.
Sure. And
may need more than just a suspension note or to sit in a class with their, a lot of times that's what I hear is what is it? For us, it was like ISS or whatever back in the day. And yeah, there was a lot of kids, they wouldn't care. They just put their head, wear a hoodie, put their head down on their desk and go to sleep all day. But the key in this whole thing is both the accountability and then the consistency factor of it. Obviously, it's not gonna work if you get kids coming back and being allowed to do the same things and the environment is different from class to class or student to student. And so that's a part of it that I really look forward to as well. And again, I know you're kind of sitting in on this thing. You along with Chris, you're putting your name, on this, and you're the face of the district in a lot of ways in terms of how it communicates with the public. So I appreciate your work and willingness to put your stamp on this thing as well.
I just want to, this is definitely something, and like Chris said, we have seen grow exponentially in our schools. When I started, this is, I guess, year 12 for me, to get a vape from a kid 10 years ago was very, we would maybe get one every 9 weeks. It was such the anomaly, it didn't happen. And so now it's just become the norm. And so until we can do something to help our students and educate them and help them break that bad habit, we're just going to see it grow and become worse,
I think a lot of parents don't realize as well. And I didn't know this until I started working with the Prevention Coalition. Chewy, they have backpacks that are specifically made to hide these types of devices. Specifically made to hide these devices. Yeah. So it is.
Another thing to clarify just real fast. So when we're talking about vapes, we're talking about nicotine vapes. Yeah. We have also seen vapes with THC in them, which are on a whole nother level of scary. But if a student is caught with a THC vape, that kind of foregoes all these steps. That's a zero tolerance. That's 180 days at our alternative school, a petition to juvenile court, in the whole 9 yards. So just wanted to clarify a little difference there. A vape is a vape, unfortunately, but when you have that THC, which we have seen, it escalates it for sure.
Definitely. All right. So now, all that being said, that is, and we
welcome
can't...
back to school, right? Should I just say welcome back?
Well, we also can't make you the quote unquote bad guy in
Yeah,
this whole
yeah.
situation. We got to thank Dr. Roger Alsop for this. Now, there's two types of people out there, I think, right now watching this. The type of people who are watching it and saying, good, this is how it should be. There should be something like this in place. It doesn't belong in the school. And then there's the other side of it that's like, really, do we gotta, I am the type that lives in the one side where it's like, good, they're kids. These are kids. They should be able to go to school without having to worry about walking through a cloud of smoke or vape or whatever as they're going to the bathroom or whatever the case is. So maybe I'm in the minority. I don't know. But that being said, it is the welcome back week, so to speak.
Yes, yeah.
And you guys are excited about everything that's going on in and around the district. Talk a little bit about the new cell phone policy that's also going into place.
Yeah.
Let's upset some more parents.
Real fast, let me just get a little happy in there. It is back to school for our teachers. It is 7:40, so they have about 5 minutes to be rolling back in their building.
Man.
So they're coming back today. Our students come back on Friday for their 8 to 10 day. We have a lot of open houses this week, so there's a lot going on. And I think that's my whole stance here is whether you agree or just, like it or don't like it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we are informing our community of what's changed, what's happening, and what the expectation for the school year is, and so cell phone policy is something that we have also seen update and we've strengthened a little bit because cell phones are mine sitting right here in front of me. We don't know how to function without those. So cell phone policy did update. If you're a student in the elementary school, you cannot be in possession of your cell phone at all during the school day. So no cell phones for our elementary students. In grades 6 through 12, you can have your cell phone with you. It just has to be turned off and put away during the day, but students will be allowed to have them out during lunchtime. So they still kind of will get that middle of the day break where they can relax and reset and have their phone for their normal activities.
Yeah, and if they get to school early, right, they can in the lunchroom or something like that until the first bell rings.
So usually that 7:45 is the start of the official school day until they start and then get in class by 8 o'clock.
So they can listen to the starting lineup, but up
That's
until
right.
7:45
tune in and
with
listen.
the smartphone app, and then at that point they got to turn it off.
So that's changed a little bit. I'm trying to think about what else we've seen change. To the tobacco-free policy and our cell phones have been the biggest changes that students should expect. And again, we want parents to just know about this and support us. It is our job to educate your student to the best of our ability. And until we can take some of those barriers away, we can't do our job effectively. And we need your help in that as well. You're in this with us and we want you to be on our team. This is not an us versus them. We don't want to make your life any, miserable. That's not our goal. We just really want to educate your student at the end of the day.
I'd like to say this from a parent perspective as well, and we're going to have to go out to do trivia with the Oasis here in just a second. But from a parent perspective as well, I think that's the most important thing is that the parents get on board with this stuff because it is important. You guys are expecting all students to live up to the same expectation. You're not singling certain students out per se, but to do your job most effectively, you need them to be on board.
Absolutely.
All
and
right.
that comes to grades, behavior, anything. We want you on our team.
Joey, go ahead and let's call out to Scotty over there at the Oasis. Scotty is one of those kids that I would say probably back in the day, Scotty was probably one of those kids who's always getting in trouble.
Crafts and watercrafts.
Scotty, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning.
I've got Miss Rachel Shields in studio with us this morning from the school district. And
Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning.
They're going back to school this week, which is just it's tough to even fathom. But we were talking about you were probably a little troublemaker in your school days, I bet.
Yeah, I was probably in the office more than most people.
At least you're honest.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was not nothing bad though, just a lot of
just goofing
things,
around.
Mischievous.
Yeah, it was all Jeff's fault anyways.
Yeah, he's the one that got me in trouble most of the time.
Yeah. Well, how was your weekend over there at Drafts and Watercrafts, my friend?
It was a great weekend. The weather cooperated. They kept calling for a lot of rains and storms, which we didn't get. So
Right.
The weathermen were wrong again. It's like I think they've been about 75% this summer. So, but we had a great weekend, and we're preparing for another big, great week. So, it's sort of sad that the schools start back. That means the summer is starting to come to an end, and this summer has flown by. So, but we are open. We're open the all the way until the third week of October.
Yeah.
Which is the Tennessee-Alabama game. And that's always our last day of the season. And so we still got a lot of stuff going on, still got entertainment going on all week. You know, tonight's trivia night. We do it at 6:30. Tomorrow night we have a gentleman named Jacob Johnson from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Wednesday night is our Singo. You know, it's week 12 of the Idol this week, Lake Idol. And we're going to be doing 14 winners this week. So you got this week and 2 more, and then the finale is on August the 27th.
Wow.
Where we're giving away that $1,000 to the winner. And it's going to be a great finale because we have really got some great singers and some great entertainers this season. And then Friday night we got Matt Marinachik from 7 to 10, and we got Off the Hook Band Saturday from 7 to 10:30, and then we got Peter Moon Sunday from 12 to 3. So we've got just a lot of stuff going on down at Drafts and Watercrafts.
Yeah, still got like 3 months though left in your season down there at Drafts, and it's crazy to think. But Thursdays when you guys do the Lake Idol, it's like the who's who of Franklin County and Winchester down there. The amount of people that are down there for that thing is tremendous. My question for you is: so I saw a while back they had this saxophone player, sax squatch, that played the Caverns. Chewy, have you seen this guy? He looks like a big giant Yeti, and he plays the...
I've been following Sax Squatch for a couple years now.
Yeah. So I'm thinking all we got to do is teach Chewy how to play an instrument, and we can get him down there at Drafts and Watercrafts, and you can have your own very own version of Sax Squatch. I don't know what kind of, maybe he can play the bongos or something like that. It's got to be something we can teach him how to do.
Tambourine.
Yeah.
You know, we had a guy this week that performed that brought a trumpet that he played for the Idol.
Oh, really?
So,
cool.
he brought a trumpet and performed his with the trumpet. So it was kind of a unique experience. So,
well, very cool. And again, a lot going on down at Drafts and Watercrafts, starting with trivia tonight at 6 p.m., right?
It starts at 6:30.
6:30. Yeah, I have 6 in my head because if you get there after 6, you're not going to get a table. So get there early. All right, brother. Well, so trivia today, for those who want to call in, today's question is going to be one of the questions that you will hear down there at Drafts and Watercrafts. And so remember the answer and the number. You can load it into your phone, 931-967-3500. Scotty, if they get the question or the answer correct today, what will they win?
They're going to win one of our pulled pork bowls, which is rice, pulled pork, grilled jalapenos, and dill pickle chips drizzled with barbecue sauce.
Oh, that sounds really good. So win a pulled pork bowl down there at Drafts and Watercrafts, and they've got to redeem it like today or tomorrow. Is that normally the case?
Today. They can do it either at lunch or dinner tonight.
Lunch or dinner tonight.
Or all day.
Can't have one in the last 30 days, which I know is a problem for some of you who call in despite having one in the last 30 days. You still try and win. All right. Again, the number 931-967-3500. Scotty, what kind of a question do you have for us today?
We're going to do a sports question this morning.
All right. I like it.
All right. And also, I was going to let you know, if you do want to call in today before 2 p.m., you can reserve you a table for trivia. So.
Oh, nice.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
What college running back had the most rushing touchdowns in a single season?
What college running back had the most rushing touchdowns in a single season? Ooh, this is a good one. 931-967-3500. That's 931-967-3500. I'm concerned with this one because, Rachel, usually it's somebody very obscure. All right, caller, what's your guess?
Barry Sanders.
Is it Barry Sanders?
That's right.
Hey, he got it. Do you remember the number of touchdowns that Barry rushed for?
I don't know that.
37.
37 touchdowns. That is a lot of touchdowns. Caller, what's your name?
Harlan Reese.
Harlan Reese. All right. Well, congratulations to you, my friend. Harlan, how many times have you won?
5 or 6. I never went and got the food though.
All right. Well, this time you got to go get your pulled pork bowl down there.
I'm going to get that one this afternoon.
All right. Congratulations to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Listen, we talk about being like Brett on the show. You got to be like Harlan when it comes to the trivia. He's got the number loaded into his phone on speed dial. But all right. Well, I was saying that. So normally these questions, Scotty, when you get a question like that, it's some weird thing like who's thrown for the most touchdowns in the history of college football. It would be somebody obscure like Colt Brennan or something like that. But this one was with Barry Sanders, was pretty straightforward.
Well,
answer.
we done that question. Was it Bailey Zappa or
Bailey Zappa? Yeah.
From Western Kentucky? Remember, we done that question. Who had the most touchdowns in college?
Yeah. Well, good job by him for getting that one, and good job by you, Scotty. Enjoy your beautiful day out there at Drafts and Watercrafts, my friend.
Y'all too, and Rachel, you have a good school year this year.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good day. Thank y'all.
See ya.
All right. When we come back, we will wrap things up here in hour number 1. Again, Miss Rachel, thank you so much for coming in. If there's anything that we didn't get to yet, do you want to stick around for another segment, or
sure.
are you good to go?
I can stay until about 8 o'clock, and then I know my team will be looking for me.
Perfect. Well, we got a few more minutes then with Miss Rachel, and we'll be back on the other side. It is a Mayhem Monday on the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
I'm Kristen Abraham, curator of Abraham Art Gallery right on the square in downtown Winchester. Looking for something unique? Every month brings a new featured artist, original art to inspire and share with the community. Come in, explore, and discover art that's ready to go home with you today. Whether you're redecorating, collecting, or just need something that sparks joy, this is your place. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. Find us on Instagram and Facebook. Visit abrahamgallery.com or stop by at 106 North High Street. You never know what you'll fall in love with.
For over 75 years, one thing has never changed in Winchester, Tennessee. Hall Furniture has been there through it all. 3 generations, decades of trust, and the commitment to quality, value, and service that still comes first today. As we celebrate over 75 years in business, we want to say thank you to our loyal customers, our community, and to everyone who has made Hall Furniture a Winchester tradition. Hall Furniture, here's to another 75 years of helping you make a house feel like home.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a 5th-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
We had a plan, and then the microphones came on. You're listening to the starting lineup on ESPN Radio 1340 1069, WCDT Winchester.
All right, back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCT Winchester. Again, trivia night over there at Drafts and Watercrafts. So go have a good time out there. Enjoy that thing and tell Scotty we said hey. Speaking of knowing things, the teachers all know that they're probably already back in their classrooms by now.
If not, they're running late.
Yeah, which is not a good way to start the year, by the way. But that would be me. If I was a teacher, I would be I would be the one getting in trouble for being late. I'd set a bad example. The students aren't even there, and I'd already be getting yelled at. But that all being said, you guys are excited about the new school year.
We are so excited. Welcoming our teachers back today, students back on Friday, and then we've got a full year ahead of us.
Yeah.
I can't believe summer's already over.
Yeah.
I feel like we just blinked and here it is. It's August.
It does
you know?
feel like that. And if you've got a child at home who is excited to go back to school, listen, they may be on the path to being an educator someday because there are not a lot of kids, at least when I was growing up. I don't know how it is nowadays. You guys do such a great job of getting these kids excited about being in the classroom and enjoying learning and things like that. For me, I was always one of the kids who dreaded it. But that's one of the changes that I've seen here in recent years, even from my own kids, is how excited they are to go back to school.
Absolutely. We try to make it fun. We don't want it to be a daunting task to come to school. We want kids to enjoy it. We want our teachers to enjoy it, families to enjoy it. And the other thing I think that we've really seen a change in is not only how we educate our students, but how we prepare them for after to be a productive citizen in our community.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was in school, I was so blinded and thought you either were a teacher, a nurse, a lawyer, a doctor. Like those were it. Like those are the only careers out there for you. But now we're exposing our children to so much at such an early age, and that young elementary age, of the different opportunities they have after school. That's what it's all about, is, preparing them for the workforce or after, and then to be a productive citizen, hopefully right here in Franklin County.
Yeah. And if you don't end up a productive citizen, then you end up working at the radio station like Chewy and I.
Hey, we couldn't
So
make
choose
it without
wisely.
you. We couldn't make it without you.
I don't know about that. There's some people in the chat who would probably disagree with you. But I am excited, not just for the education side of things. I obviously live for the athletics side of things. So I'm very excited. The middle school football teams are back in action. South plays tomorrow night for their first game of the season. North just before August even arrived, North had already won a game.
Yeah.
And we've got high school footballs right around the corner as well. And then all of the other sports, the fall sports as well, that come along this time of year. The band kids just recently finished up their camp. So it's in full swing. I know that a lot of parents within the district, they're like, the school, it's already here. Like, I've been taking my kid to and from all these things for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So it is cool. Now, within the district, you guys also have a lot of new educators, and I know that that's been a part of your strategy as well. As every year, you've got some educators who retire and move on, and whatever the case is. But you guys really have brought in some quality educators, as well as some folks who are part of like the grow your own educator process that you got in the district.
So we just had our new teacher, or we call it new teacher. They don't all have to be new to the profession. We had their orientation 2 weeks ago, or a week ago now. I'm still on beach time, I guess. But I believe we ended up hiring 43 new teachers to the district. And of those 43, I think we had 15 that were new to the profession.
Wow.
So we brought in a lot of seasoned educators from other counties, other states, from all over. And then we also had, I always forget my number, 5 that were grow your own. So that means they were, and they all are from Franklin County. They went through as an educational assistant, went through school with us as an apprentice, and they have graduated, completed, and they are starting their first classroom. I'm sure they're there this morning, nervous. I know they'll be nervous on Friday, but I know they'll do great because they were able to be in our schools watching this go on for 2 years or longer as an assistant, and then really get, boots on the ground training before they got to start their own classroom. So it's super exciting to see.
So I know hazing has a bad connotation with it if it goes too far, but do new teachers get do you guys play practical jokes or anything like that on new teachers? I know you were a new teacher.
Yeah.
You were a new teacher once upon a time.
No, I don't think so. I really think it's all about that, let me wrap my arms around you and support you. How can I get your room ready? What do you need? Let me help you make copies. This is where you should put your turn-in paper tray. This is where you don't put your supplies. I don't think so.
Again, just another reason why Chewy and I could not be educators. We would be messing with everybody.
I mean, it's even hey, don't park in this parking spot. That's Miss So-and-so's spot. She's been here for 25 years. Don't, we tell you what not to do,
Yeah. Well, that's why you guys are educators. You guys have that kind of in your heart. Keep the other, looking out for the young ones, the young teachers.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to all of those new educators, to you, the whole school district on a tremendous new year. We're excited about it. I know Katie's excited about it. She's been spending a lot of time over with the band kids, like I said, just at their camp and taking pictures and videos and other things like that. And we have gotten so attached to these kids, and we only spend part-time with them. You guys spend each and every day with them. So I know that the relationship relationships that the educators have within this community is very special with a lot of these students.
Yeah, and just watching them matriculate through the system.
Yeah.
The last group of kids that I got to teach in the classroom, they're seniors this year.
Wow.
Makes my stomach hurt. And then one of our Grow Your Own candidates, actually Maddie Danley, I'll give her a shout out. She was one of the first students I taught. So it's kind of like I'm seeing that
Wow, full
bookend. Like
circle, yeah.
they're starting a career, they're graduating. It makes me real sad, but it's fun to watch them grow and become their own individual.
Very
For sure,
cool stuff.
for sure.
Well, again, thank you so much to you, Dr. Alsup, every single one of the teachers within the district. Thank you to, and I know that as far as the cell phone policy as well, we touched on that a little bit in the previous segment, but, Miss Brittany Butner was a big part of putting that together, and that was something that was actually developed by the educators and the principals within our district.
Absolutely.
And so good job by them. It's not something that was handed down by the state.
Nope.
A lot of these policies that we are developing are custom built, custom made by our people, our educators within Franklin County.
That's exactly right. Our entire secondary team of principals sat down, crafted that cell phone policy for several months. I think they probably started about February looking at that. So again, it's customizable to what we see, what's going on in our school, our classroom, our campuses, to make it better. That's our goal. We just want to make it better for the students, for sure.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing that, definitely. I've seen it firsthand. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Miss Rachel Shields.
Thank you so much.
for
And for
coming in
those
this morning.
listening, I know you share a lot of our stuff, but be sure to follow along on our district Facebook page, our website, our school Facebook pages. We blast you full of information. Make sure your email and phone number are up to date with your child's school. You'll get our school messengers.
Get involved this year.
We share. Yeah, we share. We would love your support. We want you on our team, and we look forward to a great school year.
All right. So do we. Good job. Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you very soon.
Yes, sir.
Again, we'll be back in hour number 2 with more. This is the starting lineup. ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
The future of healthcare starts here. The Southern Tennessee Regional Health System, Winchester and Suwanee, are joining the High Point Health System with Ascension St. Thomas, a health network serving communities across the state. We're working together to expand access, improve clinical quality, and keep you close to home throughout your care journey. Your favorite providers aren't going anywhere. It's the same care you know and trust, now with a new name. High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
ESPN Radio Winchester, WCDT 1340 AM, W295 AV, 1069 FM. Broadcasting live from the ESPN Radio Winchester studio, it's the starting lineup. Now, here are your hosts, Joe Abraham and Chewy.
Back here for hour number 2 on the starting lineup. ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham and Chewy, and my cool new hat, which, by the way, I was up here on Saturday.
I saw you.
Just working away. And all of a sudden, He just walks in the door. Like he owns the place. No, it was Landon Relford. And he heard me talking about he knows because we were talking about it in the car on Thursday. We were talking about the new hats from over there at Fincham Sportswear that they just rolled out. This bad boy is a special delivery from the head coach, Landon Relford from Fincham. Normally, Fincham will come in and drop them off for me on their own. But Landon hand-delivered this one because he knew how excited I was to get my hands on it. And then, sure enough, Katie came in the other room and tried to steal it from me.
Yeah.
But I'm holding on to this one.
I really like all those alternative camo textures. He's got one for the Vols where it's like gray and orange. I love the way that looks, dude.
So we encourage you to get involved in the show here in hour number 2. We've got a lot of things to get through. It's going to be a quick-moving hour, and this is going to be one of those ones where if we don't get through it all, you're going to want to, if you miss part of it, you're going to want to go back and watch it. B, we probably won't get through it all because we got to make these calls out to Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware as well as Heath Automotive. But there are some things that I want to get into this morning, including the DA and the Sheriff's Office. Is there trouble in paradise, so to speak, between those two? There was also, speaking of the Sheriff's Office, there was a pot bust this past week, Chewy, that went viral for all the wrong reasons. We'll talk a little bit about that as much as we can. We may roll some of this stuff over into tomorrow as well. But before we get into any of that stuff, I meant to mention this on Friday, and I forgot. Now, you and I have had the growth of the show. We've talked about pushing the show to 3 hours. We got the show now in the afternoon that runs the replay of the morning show. But we have so many different topics that come up, and people say, oh, man, how do you get through 2 hours every day, Monday through Friday, and still have stuff to talk about? A lot of times, that's not the problem. The problem is trying to condense it down into what's the stuff worth talking about, and we miss out on certain things that we want to talk about. One of those things, and it's sitting at the top of the list of our new special edition show topics whiteboard, which is just a running list of crap that we want to talk about. Sitting right there at the top, issue number 1, most important, before we make phone calls out to Poultry and Heath here in hour number 2, I got to mention the smoke show that is Brian Suloff over at Backstage Pawn. And Chewy's laughing because he knows.
Well, I'm laughing not because of what you say, because this is a long time coming.
Yeah.
This was something that was specifically requested.
We started talking about having this conversation like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, for people who don't know, and you haven't been over to Backstage, Brian over there, not only can he sell you a silencer, but he is also absolutely tremendously gorgeous. Just an absolute, like I said, smoke show.
Well, tell him why, though.
Well, why?
Because he's a big. I was gonna say because he was caught with some Fincham merch on as well.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. That part of it is
the dudes fly even just anywhere he goes.
No, I mean, and two, they have just non-disclosure. I mean, they are one of our advertisers, but that's not why I'm talking about him. I mean, a little bit, but that's not why I'm talking about how handsome the man is.
But anyway, hey, go check him out, though.
I mean, best looking guy in Franklin County, maybe right behind you. Like 1, 2, 1 and 1A.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. So like we need to get the people involved. That's funny. We need to get we need to get the people involved on the topics board. I think it'd be fun to get like viewer suggestions like actually written down.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
If you ever, so we literally do. I could turn it around here. Look, I'm gonna mess up my camera angle and probably tip over something else in the process. Ignore the rest. That's the topic board right there.
I
think I'm joking around.
Wow.
Cool.
Not bad.
Gotta get my handsome face back in there. I'm third on the list, by the way, if you're tracking. Right
Not bad, Joe Abraham.
Chewy and Brian. No, but if you have suggestions for the show and you want us to, if there's anything you want us to get into, let us know. Also, you may have seen on there as well, we're probably not going to get to this one today, but the second thing on the list is it's too early for Halloween, you loser.
Yeah, that's like a backup topic for if we don't have a show prep.
Specifically targeting Chewy and being able to call him a loser and make fun of him for Halloween.
It's okay to be wrong, Joey. Brett Crabtree, by the way, said absolutely not.
Well, you're going to have to take that up with the unofficial board of judges, and they say that you're wrong right now, Brett. So Brian is number one. Chewy is number one, then Brian's number two.
I love this idea.
And I am certainly number three. I'm at least in the top 5.
All right, we need to do an open poll on Facebook.
We need to start doing polls like that. I would be all for, like, hey, who's got the best cheeseburger in town? Hey, who's got the best this in town? Not to upset anybody, but because people in this town, they want to know. We love ranking stuff. Everybody's got an opinion, or at least people who listen to this show seem to have opinions. But, okay. All right. I'm going to shut up now. Let's go out to... do we have enough time in this segment, or should we wait till the next segment?
Let's wait till the next segment. We got 2 more minutes left before the music starts.
All right, so let me tease then a little bit later what we might be able to get into if time allows. So Franklin County Sheriff's Department has been doing work, and in fact, not only last week did they bust a couple of guys that were dealers in a school zone, by the way. But then they come across, and through good old police work, they're able to bust a pretty big grow operation that was going on down in Huntland as well. And they posted it on their social media. And then Nick Barra's got a hold of it, News Channel 5. He's popular guy on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Here in the region, he'll share stuff that's like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? And everything that this guy must have a bazillion views a month. So he picked it up, he shared it. Well, then it went viral, and there were people from all over the country posting on the original post, on Nick Barrett's post, all these posts. Just let these people grow. It's a plant. God made it for us to grow. Just let them do their thing. Give the man back his plants. All of this stuff.
Jim Sanders says the Go-Go Hoagies was the best cheeseburger in this town.
And see, look, we asked a question. We already got responses.
I like it. Keep it up, Jim. And Brett says he thinks he's deserved a spot on that judging panel. I struggle to disagree. So.
Yeah, I'll be the ultimate decision maker there.
So with this viralness, it
went viral because everybody was crushing the police department for them doing their job.
Yeah. Okay, that was going to be my question. I was like, what are they mad at? And it was just the seizure and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, just basically people saying it should be legal. Imagine going around and busting people for stuff that's legal in almost every other state and all this other stuff. Basically giving the department a hard time for literally doing their job, which is ironic, too, when we talk about the community that we're in and how drugs is like the number one issue in our community. If you were to ask anybody in law enforcement here in the area, in the region, in fact, every one of the sheriff's candidates said the local war on drugs is priority number one here in our community. I can't believe how many people give law enforcement a hard time for doing their jobs. And this is just kind of a teaser of the segment. I've got a whole segment built out for this conversation, but it just drives me absolutely insane. That, again, people jumping in and crushing our local law enforcement officers for keeping this crap off the streets. We'll be back on the other side. We'll go out to Heath Automotive and Poultry Electric next. It is the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
The starting lineup with Joe and Chewy is presented by Loco in Winchester. Right here in Winchester, Loco is doing things their own way. From locally roasted Loco coffee to a one-of-a-kind shop experience. It's a place that's built for the Franklin County community. So if you haven't stopped by yet, now's the time. Support local. Drink Loco coffee, fueling Franklin County mornings. roasted right here in Franklin County. And don't forget to tune into the starting lineup, weekdays from 7 to 9. When we hear drug-endangered children, we may picture extreme situations, but substance misuse can affect any child through unsafe environments, unsecured medications, or even impaired driving. Protecting children is everyone's responsibility. The Franklin County Prevention Coalition partners with schools and law enforcement to raise awareness and provide tools that keep kids safe. Because when we work together to protect our children, we are stronger together. Learn more at fcpctn.org/DEC. This project is funded under a grant contract with the State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
From the 931 Go Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Radio Winchester weather update, presented by Bennett's Pharmacy.
Starting off our morning with patchy fog and mostly cloudy, then becoming sunny with a high of 89 degrees this afternoon and some calm winds to keep you nice and cool on this very hot summer's day. Stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester for all of your wonderful weather updates.
At Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester, we're more than a pharmacy. We're your partner in health. Conveniently located at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard, we're here to serve you with fast, friendly, and personalized service. Need prescriptions filled? Looking for over-the-counter products? We've got you covered. Plus, enjoy local delivery and expert advice from our caring team. Call us today at 931-967-2777 or stop by Bennett's Pharmacy at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard today.
Joe had to mix up some more pre-workout, but he's ready to go another round. Back to the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. It is a Mayhem Monday, and we're going to go out to Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware, see what they're up to out there, see what Jeff is up to.
I need to get my bearings here for just a second.
Yeah.
I did want to say Alice Powers jumped in talking about that she doesn't disagree with the concept. The only reason marijuana isn't legal is because Big Pharma would lose billions, which is probably true. John Shalongo jumped in saying, Shalongo. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to butcher your name there, friend.
Yeah.
But John jumped in saying, Raphael's has the best cheesesteak sandwich in Franklin County, IMO. Dang.
Yeah.
And then Nikki Martin jumped in and said, the Loco ad playing right after. Listen, it's Loco Coffee.
Okay, so, and to clarify, A, it is Loco Coffee. B, Loco doesn't sell that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Can't. It's illegal.
But
so
but I appreciate the irony. That is funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
Also, you know, we don't manually load the commercials, and we were just talking about that. We don't manually load the commercials in. They're scheduled automatically through our system. But the irony is not lost, and I do appreciate Nikki's sense of humor on that as well. I didn't catch it. I take my headphones off usually right after the segment ends, but that would have made me laugh too. So as far as that goes, we will get into it more. And here's the thing: is my problem is not necessarily with marijuana in that whole conversation. We'll get into this later. My problem is just it's the law. To me, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the law, and that's where my problem comes in. I've been told that post, Chewy, had 2.5 million views on that post.
What?
Yeah, one post. That's like what we do in a month. All right, so speaking of somebody who can help you with 2.5 million issues around your household, or and I know this because I've walked through the store here recently, and goodness gracious, how many products do you have in that store? It's something like 35,000 or something.
It's just shy of 35,000. It's 34,009. I mean, just shy of 35,000.
Yeah, I know that because I talked to you last week about it, and it's one of those things. You talk about all the different combinations of ways that you help folks. Yeah, you got 35,000 products, but it's how you assemble them to make custom 4-way, gas exchange thingy-majiggers and.
And every day there's something. Already before you called here, a gentleman walked in. Of course, we close at 12 on Saturdays, you know, and he said it happened about 3 o'clock. He had a water line leak in one of his ice makers, a commercial ice maker. And he went to Brand X here and Brand X in the following county, you know.
Yeah.
And could not fix his water leak. And he walked in here just prior to me answering the telephone here, actually. And it was a 5/16 plumbing line is what it was. And normal plumbing is quarter 3/8, half, you know. But there is one line that runs on a commercial ice maker, and sometimes on a residential refrigerator, there's a line that runs from the ice maker valve up through the door. It's usually a side-by-side. It runs up through the door. You've seen the water and ice that comes through the door, you know?
Yeah.
For some reason, they run a 5/16 line there. And it's the only 5/16 line that I know of. I ain't going to say only one period that Jeff knows of that is used in the plumbing world.
Okay.
Now, 5/16 in the automotive world is real common, you know, but in the plumbing world, it's odd. Well, he didn't get it fixed Saturday because Brand X didn't have it. He didn't get it fixed Sunday because he couldn't find it. But as of about 10 minutes ago, he bought his fitting. He walked in and said, "Hey, I don't know what this is, but I can't find anything to fit it." As soon as I looked at it, that's 5/16. And he says, "Really?" And I walked back there and grabbed his fit and put it on there. And I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just saying that's just what we do here, you know, like you're talking about. We're different.
Built different.
Yeah, we're built different. My mom will tell you that Jeff is different also.
Yeah.
You know, and I have these weird harebrained thoughts, and that really shows I bought a hardware store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that just shows you weird too, you know.
Yeah.
So,
It shows by the...
for those odd things that you're looking for, come to Poultry Electric. I promise you, we might not have it, but chances are we do have it.
Yeah.
And you walk into the store the other day, I promise you, you've seen stuff. We may not be the cleanliness or the cleanest.
One of those.
We might not be real organized or the most organized, I should say that. But some of the organizing part is because we have such a small building that when we have so much product, there's no way to organize it.
Yeah,
Am I making sense?
I would argue though against that. So because there's sometimes when I go to big box store and I'm like, why is this over here? It should be with this over there. It doesn't make any sense that this is way over here. And when I walk into your store, I know that everything is in its proper place. Like it's all in the sections that it should be. You know,
that it should be. It may not be organized to the best. Organized chaos is what we call it. Okay?
Well, you got 35,000 products. You got to cut yourself a little bit slack. But
yeah. Well, Luke and I was talking the other day, and we're going to try to straighten up the electrical aisle. And we're going back to the 90s with Tommy and Donna Steele. That electrical aisle has been in the same spot for X number of years. Well, we used to have just a regular receptacle. We didn't have to have tamper-proof receptacles. So now we've had to have regular receptacles. Now we got to have tamper-proof receptacles for the new codes. You know, it was only ivory and white back in the day. All right, so now you got brown. Oh, you had a little brown, but now you got brown and black in the mix. So you've got GFIs, and you got some GFIs that has the USB charging port on them. And then you got regular GFIs. Then you got tamper-proof GFIs. So we've had to just go over and just sort of make everything fit down that aisle because we don't have an unlimited building to keep adding these new products, you know.
Yeah.
So we're going to take the light bulb aisle. We're going to put it on the back wall. We're going to take the nylon boxes and electrical boxes. We're going to put where the light bulbs are. And then we're going to redo the section that has, we call it the wiring devices, you know, the receptacles, the switches. You know, back then we had the dimmer switches, and you've seen the dimmer switches. It's just got the rotary deal. Your little round knob, and you turn it up and you turn it down. Well, now you still got that, but you've got 3 more switches there that it looks like a regular light switch, and it's got a little slide thing on the side that dims. It's called a slider or toggle dimmer now, you know, and then you know, everyone's trying to save energy. So now you've got occupancy switches, or when you walk into the room, it senses you walk in, it cuts the lights on. when you walk out 5 minutes later, it cuts the lights off, you know.
Yeah.
So you've had to do that. Now you've got all those colors you got to add too, you know.
Listen,
So
be
our
careful
wires-
moving stuff around. You're going to upset. You know how many people you're going to upset by moving the light bulbs from one side of the aisle to the other?
I understand, but we I ain't gonna say we have to. I'm not gonna say we have to do it.
Yeah.
But we need to do it because our wiring device, all of our, is just so jacked up because it used to be set up perfectly in the 90s for 5 items. Now we've got 25 items going where 5 items used to be.
Right.
You know.
Well,
and
and you got to start making room because, here in the next few weeks, I know you got to pull those sleds out from last season that you didn't move. You got like 50 sleds. You're going to have to find a spot for.
You know it's on the back of my mouth and tongue right there. Do you know what I literally had to order? August the 1st was Saturday, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, August 1st was Saturday. I had to turn in my heating order, my sled order. Now, I didn't have to have it finished, but I had to have it started to get all the deals and make sure everything's in place. So I had to start a PO Saturday. Now, I have until the 5th to finish the PO. So it's odd that you say that. I'm literally ordering heaters and sleds and heat tape and winter items right now. I've got till when is the 5th? Wednesday, I think?
Yeah.
Today's the 3rd, yeah. So I've got to have that order completed by Wednesday.
Listen, if radio doesn't work out for me, you and I have spoken so much that I might be able to be like one of your stock boys. I can figure out where the light bulbs go.
Well,
And Chewy can reach the top. Chewy can reach the top shelf with those long arms of his.
But hey, it's Monday. It seems like a rainy day. A great day to be coming in looking at Benjamin Moore paint, appliances. Adam's already got several orders going out today. He's processing one just a few minutes ago to be delivered at 3 o'clock. So hey, come and see us for all your electrical, plumbing, appliance needs. Paint, Benjamin Moore. So, Poultry Electric Pro Hardware, 1991 Sharp Springs Road. Call us at 967-7351. Find us on the web at poultryelectric.com.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
He can help you with all your solutions over there, and he really can. I call him up when I was redoing the studio, Chewy, and I just started cutting wires out. I cut the wrong wire, the wrong bundle of wires. It cost me about an hour because not only and it took us off the air for about an hour because I had to then turn around and essentially rewire all of the wires that I cut. And if you know what happens when you cut a Cat 5 wire, a data cable wire, you're not just cutting one wire. There's like 8 wires in the wire, and I did that to like 10 wires. So I had to reconnect like 80 wires. Either that or I was going to have to figure out a way to run an entire data line or 5 through the course of the building. So I was like, oh, man, I wonder if Jeff over at Poultry can help me.
They have basically severed any emotional or need or connection to any of the big box stores.
Yeah, well, he mentioned it. The guy went to brand X and brand Y here and up in Tullahoma, came back here, got what he needed at Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware. We say it over and over again. It will save you so much time. Make Poultry your first stop. It will be your last stop.
I can also say the accessibility with their employees, and I don't know if it's just the culture that they commit out there, but I never number one, I'd never felt like a burden asking for help, and number two, they always seem invested in getting my project done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where you go in there and let's say if they don't have the part, they're like, you know what, let me order this for you and come pick it up, tomorrow or next Tuesday, or you know what I mean? And I've seen those guys on their phones helping people do stuff at their house.
Yeah.
That's a level of customer service that you can't even ask for anymore,
Yeah.
So definitely go. I can't say anything nicer about them.
Well, and two, one of the other cool things that they do is they sell like the washers and the nuts and the bolts and things like that. You don't have to buy an entire pack. Like say you need 3, not 8. They'll sell you the 3. And you walk out of there and you'll have spent $1.17.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead and check those guys out over there. When we come back, we'll go out to Heath Automotive, and we're going to get into this situation between the district attorney's office and the sheriff's department is kind of interesting. I want to talk about this. We're not going to get to spend as much time on it because this probably could take up at least an entire hour, if not an entire show. So we'll probably not spend as much time on it as I want to, but I'm going to try and spend as much time as I've got on that the rest of the way after we get done with Heath Automotive. So stay tuned for that. It is the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
It is the starting lineup. So the World Cup is going on right now in America, which means we have visitors from all corners of the world. They spend the last couple of weeks thinking, you know what? Americans aren't that bad. Nothing says welcome to America like a Belgian soccer fan waking up at 7:30 to some guy named Randy blowing up mortars in the backyard and a sleeveless Dale Earnhardt shirt. Welcome to America!
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
The Franklin County Sheriff's Office has announced that 1-year-old Lily Hill has been safely located after an Amber Alert was issued earlier this week. Investigators say Lily was taken by her non-custodial mother, Casey Hill, who was wanted on charges including aggravated kidnapping, child endangerment, and felony evading. Authorities located the vehicle in Cartersville, Georgia, after an automated license plate reader alerted law enforcement. Casey Hill was taken into custody, and officials confirmed that Lily was found safe. In a separate investigation, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office reports 2 arrests following a narcotics investigation involving alleged drug sales near a school. Search warrants executed at 2 residences resulted in the seizure of suspected marijuana, THC products, mushroom edibles, more than $25,000 in cash, cell phones, and additional evidence. Hayden George Ray and Destin Jeremiah Ray each face multiple felony charges, including manufacturing and delivering controlled substances, maintaining a dwelling for drug purposes, and violating the Drug-Free School Zone Act. Investigators say the searches are part of a broader effort by the Sheriff's Office Narcotics Division, which has also seized fentanyl, methamphetamine, prescription drugs, firearms, and vehicles during the ongoing investigations over the past 2 months. And the countdown is on for the start of a new school year in Franklin County. Classes begin in just 1 week, and Franklin County Schools is preparing to welcome students back on August 7th. District officials say 41 new educators are joining the school system this year and will be stepping into classrooms across the county. Parents are also encouraged to begin easing students back into their school routines by establishing earlier bedtimes, serving healthy meals, and offering plenty of encouragement as the first day of school approaches. For details on these stories and more, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
When it comes to caring for your loved ones, choose a name you can trust. Inhabit Home Health in Winchester, located at 2068 Cowan Highway. We're here to provide compassionate professional care right in the comfort of your own home. From skilled nursing to therapy services, our team is dedicated to helping you or your loved ones achieve the best quality of life. Call Inhabit Home Health today at 931-967-0633 to learn more about our personalized care plans.
Well, that was an interesting last segment. Let's try that again. Back to Joe Abraham and Chewy. This is the starting lineup on ESPN Radio Winchester.
All right, back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham and Chewy. And, yeah, today is one of those days. Had Chris Hawkersmith and Rachel Shields in hour number 1. Joked around a little bit in the first segment of hour number 2. Had a phone call with Poultry Electric there. We're running out of time, Chewy. So let's get Heath Automotive in. And I think what we're going to do, and this may push us a little bit over, but I am at least going to lay the groundwork on this conversation regarding possible trouble in the relationship between the sheriff's office, sheriff's department, and the district attorney's office. This has been kind of brewing, simmering, and then we had Sam Davidson on Friday. He said some things about there's a case that's going on. The district attorney's office released some information. We'll get into it. Nothing.
I think they're busy this morning.
Yeah, we missed the boat on that one. See, that's the problem. We wait too long. Monday morning, they're like insane over there. So that's my fault. I apologize to Steve and the folks over at Heath Automotive. I will say this, and we've talked about it. If you got a kid going back to school and they haven't already left, get them in there. The problem is that college starts so early now, they're probably already in there. All right, so let's just reset this. We do need to have this. This is one of these difficult conversations that we gotta have. But it's about the relationship, Chewy, between the Franklin County Sheriff's Department and the District Attorney's Office. Now I want to begin by making something very, very clear. If the Sheriff's Department charged a man under a statute that required a prior felony conviction, and that man did not have a prior felony conviction, it is a legitimate mistake that deserves an explanation, deserves accountability. You know, we're asking the questions like, how did it happen? Who reviews the criminal history? Were the Florida charges mistaken for Florida convictions? Was the record somehow unclear? Was there incomplete information? At what stage does this stuff normally get caught? Because it's my understanding that sometimes charges get brought up and they get dismissed before they ever enter the courtroom. So is this a natural, like, this is normal? Or is this a mistake that happened early in the process? Like, where did we go wrong in this whole thing? And for people who are wondering what I'm talking about, let me pull it up real quick. So the Franklin County Sheriff's Office made an arrest. You'll remember this from a while back, where they actually had an individual. They kind of had like a standoff with him. He is James Matthew Bell, and he had fired a pistol at somebody. He was holed up in a house somewhere, and he was charged with a bunch of different things: aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, resisting arrest, unlawful possession of a firearm times 12. And shortly after, this was on June 30th. Here in the recent weeks, the DA's office made a post on social media talking about the dismissal of those unlawful possession charges. So the question is, at what point should the error have been caught? At what stage in the process? And that's what the process is there for. We talk about the process. That's the whole point. There's checks and balances along the way. The Sheriff's Department does not get a free pass merely because I respect the job that those folks do. But what's interesting about this situation between them and the District Attorney's Office, the District Attorney's Office does not get a free pass either. Because the District Attorney did not just quietly dismiss the unsupported counts. They didn't have a conversation with the department and just say, hey, this is the way that it is, and dismiss them quietly and have it go away, right? The office, what do we got?
Steve Heath just called back.
Okay, let's get Steve in here.
All right.
Cool. And I apologize. We're going to get Steve in here. I'll come back to this. Steve, good morning.
Okay.
You there?
Yes, sir.
Hey, brother. Sorry, I know that your phone rings off the hook on Monday mornings. Sometimes it's us.
Well, I was trying to check in a customer when you called. So.
You're fine. So how are things over there at Heath Automotive today?
It's busy Monday.
Yeah, I hear that.
We have the third trailer customer in this
morning. We've had 3 trailers so far that we're putting tires on. So it is Trailer Tire Monday.
There you go. Well, as far as trailers go, it's a good conversation to have. You guys don't just work with tires on vehicles. You guys kind of work with all different applications. If you say if it's round and it rolls, you guys, and you can put air in it, you guys can take care of it over there at Heath Automotive. But that's just a goofy way of saying if it's a tire, basically you guys can handle it.
Right. And basically to kind of cover, we're not, just what you can put on a shelf in a store and you sell just that. You don't have any experience with anything outside of that. We do everything from timber skidders, which are huge tires, grader tires, backhoe tires, things like that, all the way down to wheelbarrow tires and everything in between.
Oh, wow.
I've changed out tires on pitching machines before. So
really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I didn't even know that was. I knew that there's tires on a pitching machine. I didn't even know that was the thing that you guys did. That's funny.
Hey, if it's round and holds air and rolls, I mean.
There you go.
We've seen it. So.
Yeah. So as far as things that are round and hold air and roll, the last time we spoke, you guys were talking about how you got a lot of manufacturer rebates for folks. Right now they can save some money, and then on top of that, you also have financing options available, which is pretty important these days. Money is a little bit tight for a lot of folks, I know, but you guys can help them out. Tire issues and really just car repair issues in general, they always seem to come up at the worst time, right? And they're never really what would the word be, Chewy? They're never convenient. They're always inconvenient, right? So you guys do your best to help folks through those challenges.
Well, the Synchrony card, and that's what it is. We can call it a Continental card or the Tire card or your Auto Care card, but it's by Synchrony, and Synchrony is your large retail credit. They do it for the department stores and the big box stores and everything as well. But it's a great tool because the best part of it, and like you say, life doesn't always come as planned, and you have things that come up where you have unexpected and unintended expenses, and this card will come in very handy there because you've got 6 months same as cash type deal where there's no interest. You make all of a sudden you find out, hey, I got to have tires, and you're looking maybe at a $700 bill there, and really nothing that you had budgeted for, and it's going to put you in a kind of a kink to take care of that. With that card, you can set it up on that. You make 6 monthly payments, or quicker than that, as long as you have it paid off on time and before the 6 months is out. They back all the interest out, so it's the same as cash. And like I say, it's a good tool. I'm a big proponent of not being in credit card debt where, you're getting hit right now. I think, 29, 30% interest on a lot of revolving charge cards. And Synchrony is a revolving charge card. If you want to put it on that, I can't see paying that kind of interest when, you can plan, put it on the 6 months and get it all out of the way with no interest.
Very cool. Well, where can folks find you if they need to get tires put on their pitching machine or something along those lines? Maybe they do have a unique application and they just can't figure it out on their own, or maybe it's something a little bit more common. Where can they find you guys over there at Heath Automotive?
Well, we're in Winchester. The address is 501 First Avenue Southwest. That is 4 blocks off the square in Winchester. You can give us a call at 967-3880. We're right at the split. Just look for, Goodyear across the front of the service bays and sign, Hankook sign, Michelin sign, and a lot of cars parked there usually as well.
Tremendous stuff, brother. Well, I appreciate you. I hope you have a good week, and good luck with all those trailers that you're seeing come through the doors on this Trailer Monday over there at Heath Automotive.
Trailer Monday. That's what we're here for, Joe.
All right, Steve. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All right. So that is Steve over at Heath Automotive. I appreciate him for giving us a call back, and definitely take your vehicle over there or your trailer if you're having problems with it.
Brandon Williams said he has a cool Gator hat, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that,
You
Brandon.
get that from Fincham Sportswear.
Yes, Fincham Sportswear. And they have gear depending on whatever your team is. I mean, I say depending on, regardless of whatever your team is. You tell them what you want, they'll hook you up over there at Fincham Sportswear. All right, so back to this conversation that we're having about, and this is just, I just want to lay the groundwork for this conversation because there's a lot that I don't yet know, and I have reached out to the DA's office. I have not received a call back yet. This was late last week, I think Wednesday or Thursday of last week. I made a call over there. Haven't heard back from them yet, or at least they haven't gotten in touch with me yet. I have talked to some folks from the sheriff's department to ask questions about this situation. And I say I wanted to talk about this because it seemed initially to me, it seemed unusual. It seemed unusual. The reason it seemed unusual to me was because I am seeing this process play out. Man gets charged with certain things, happens pretty quickly. The officers deal with these charges on the front end, and then it goes through the process. It gets to it's my understanding that when it hits the DA's office, that's where things like deals are made, charges are dismissed, charges are altered, things go away. Maybe I don't know if they have the ability to add them. I don't necessarily know how all of that works. But to me, my understanding of the DA's office is that was their job. That was their responsibility. So it seemed unusual to me when I saw this, when I came across this statement that her office had made. It seemed like an unusual decision to issue a public statement specifically explaining that the charges brought by the Franklin County Sheriff's Department, some of them, would not proceed. And maybe there is a completely reasonable explanation for that decision. But once you publicly identify another local agency's mistake publicly that you rely on and that you work with and that you have a relationship, a working relationship with, that decision to do that and put that out there becomes part of the story. I didn't write the DA's Facebook post. I didn't insert the sheriff's department into the release. I didn't choose the timing of the post. The DA's office made those decisions. This is a post that was made at 8 p.m. And so what I would like to say is, because I like to catch, I say I like to, I often catch, I don't like to, I often catch a lot of flack as the person asking the question, starting the conversation. But I am asking the question about a public statement and the public official who issued the statement. If I worked at the sheriff's department, and I have heard this from representatives at the sheriff's department and people close to the sheriff's department, I would be offended. And there are people within the department who are. I'd be offended because the other officers that I work with responded to an armed incident, spent hours trying to bring it to a peaceful conclusion, reportedly seized dozens of weapons from at the time, a dangerous individual, and then watched the prosecuting authority publicly emphasize the department's charging mistake. And it doesn't mean that the mistake should be hidden. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that I believe it's worth knowing why it was handled through a public press release on Facebook instead of a normal route, which is what I would assume normally if that was to happen. You know, you contact the sheriff's department and the folks involved, and you have that conversation, and you reduce exposure for the leaders within our community. We're not trying to embarrass anybody. We're not trying to cause any more issues because we work together, right? We scratch each other's backs. We make sure that the community is safe and that local folks, local individuals have trust in the process. Was the department contacted before the post? Was the sheriff's office told that the post was coming? Was the department given the opportunity to explain what officers saw in the criminal history records? I guess my big question is, why was this post necessary? Was the goal to correct widespread information, or was the goal to publicly establish who was responsible for a mistake? And those are not accusations. To me, it's obvious questions that I had that were brought up, and they were produced by the language and the format and the timing of the post. Now, to be fair, the DA can say that a case had attracted public attention and that the community deserved to know why 12 very serious counts disappeared. That is not an unreasonable position. Prosecutors should be transparent. That's what we talk about, communication, transparency. But what was surprising about this, and what I go back to, is transparency should be consistent across the board. If explaining dismissal charges is now the policy, is that policy going to apply to all other high-profile dismissals? Again, the question is raised, how many dismissals has the office publicly explained in the last year in this manner, or over time in general? What standard? Is there a standard that determines when the public receives a release? Is there a number of counts? Media attention? Public safety? Like, what are the things that play into this? Does it go back to an error by law enforcement? If there's an error by law enforcement, is that where the DA decides to step in? Because, again, it's my understanding that this is the job of the DA, is to review these types of things and clear up, fix the charges before they're presented. Or are all of these things, all of these questions that I'm asking, do they fall at the discretion of the DA? Is there a consistent policy? Is there a written policy that answers these questions? I don't know. Because an inconsistent practice of these things just raises more questions, right? Did the DA owe the public an explanation, or did the way that the office framed it unnecessarily or unintentionally embarrass the sheriff's department? It's a good question to ask. And on the sheriff's department side of it, obviously they need to do their own review of how this mistake was made. Certainly, accountability for all sides. I'm not done with this. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we wrap up the show on the other side. It is a starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
For over 75 years, one thing has never changed in Winchester, Tennessee. Hall Furniture has been there through it all. 3 generations, decades of trust, and the commitment to quality, value, and service that still comes first today. As we celebrate over 75 years in business, we want to say thank you to our loyal customers, our community, and to everyone who has made Hall Furniture a Winchester tradition. Hall Furniture, here's to another 75 years of helping you make a house feel like home.
Looking to make a difference in Franklin County? The Franklin County Prevention Coalition works every day to build a safer, healthier community, free from substance misuse. Through education, outreach, and strong local partnerships, they empower parents, schools, and leaders to prevent addiction and support positive choices. From youth programs to community events, the coalition is here for you. Learn more or get involved today at fcpctn.org. Together, we prevent.
This project is funded under a grant contract with the state
State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
If your life depended on the mission succeeding, what would you care about? Would you care about the demographics of the crew? The moon does not care about your politics, doesn't care about your hashtags. It does not care about where you lie on social media arguments. It doesn't care whether you're male or female or black or white or rich or poor or conservative or liberal or religious or atheist or anything else, because reality does not negotiate. It just is. You can disagree with the facts, but they don't care about your feelings. It is a starting lineup. Thank you for tuning in. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
FMO Facebook feed. Just go to Facebook.com/ESPN Winchester. Now, back to Joe and Chewy.
All right, back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio Winchester. Joe Abraham and Chewy. So talking about this relationship between the Sheriff's Department and the DA's office, again, I go back to the nature of the post from the DA's office, which is kind of what brought my attention to the whole situation. It just seemed very highly unusual. And somebody has messaged me saying that the Judicial Commission's reviews the criminal history of a subject during the probable cause review of a charge. The DA's statement was highly unusual. It goes on to talk about listen, I don't even know, and I felt like it was unusual. I saw it, and I was like, that's weird. That's interesting. So here's the question that it leads to, okay? You're just going to keep scratching at this thing. Does the post itself reveal a damaged working relationship between the Sheriff's Department and the District Attorney's Office? And in fact, does it damage the relationship between the two? Personally, I don't know the answer. I can only speculate and give you what I've heard from folks within the it rubbed people in the Sheriff's Department the wrong way. That's what I've heard. I'll get into more on that in a moment. I know that law enforcement representatives have expressed the frustration with it. And I know that the DA's office issued the public statement that could be reasonably read as publicly correcting the Sheriff's Department. And so those two questions right there justify asking the questions. Those two facts, justify answering the questions. They don't prove an answer. I don't have the answer, per se, as to what that does to the relationship. As far as what a healthy relationship between the two would look like, I would assume that the healthy system does not require the sheriff and the district attorney to be best friends. In fact, there should be a level of probably professional tension. Deputies investigate an arrest. Prosecutors independently evaluate whether or not the evidence proves the charges. The DA's job is not to rubber stamp every arrest that is made. Not to keep law enforcement happy. That's not their job. And the Sheriff's Department should not expect prosecutors to pursue charges that the evidence, or in this case, the law, does not support. It's not what I'm saying. Professional disagreement is part of their job, part of their relationship, and it should be healthy. But disagreement becomes dysfunction, right? When the two offices stop communicating and trusting one another, and they begin settling professional disputes through public embarrassment. That would be my assumption. Have you ever had this case where somebody puts you on blast on social media? How did it make you feel? Right? So I'm not jumping off some weird tangent over here. If this relationship is damaged, now you may be in a situation, hypothetically, are officers now going to file charges without seeking guidance on complicated issues? Is that part of the process that now goes away? Are prosecutors discovering more legal defects, more things within the process of arrest before the charges are made public? Are deputies being communicated as to the why so that they can do their job better? Reduce the number of dismissals? Or is this going to be an ongoing cycle that just gets worse and worse? It could turn into a death spiral, right? You got investigators resenting the DA, no longer talking to them, requesting advice. I've seen, what is it, Law and Order? I've seen the relationship that they have, right? They go back and forth, and there is that tension. I've seen that relationship. And I've had some very little exposure to this over the last, I don't know, couple of years since I've taken this seat and started these conversations. But if the offices begin keeping score, that doesn't seem like it's designed for the public's best interest. That doesn't seem like it's designed for the victim's best interest. If you got two offices that aren't working together, it's not the sheriff's office or the DA's office that suffers. It's the victims. Because you may have situations where now the information isn't being communicated well, things fall through the cracks, timelines become stretched or extended because they're not working well together. And I don't know. I'm speculating on this stuff because I don't know enough. I'm just asking the question. What does a strained relationship between these two offices look like? Because that, from seeing the post, feels like strain. And now, what I want to do, because we hit the top of the hour and the show has already gone long, what I want to do is I want to have a very careful conversation. We need to discuss the political circumstances around this, because ignoring them does not make them disappear. Courtney Lynch is the elected district attorney. Tim Fuller is the current elected sheriff seeking another term. Courtney Lynch's husband is Brooks Lynch, who is the chairman of the Franklin County Republican Party. That is public information. And also, through the Republican Party, appears to personally and publicly, very publicly, support another candidate in the sheriff's race. This is well documented. So, without assigning a motive, the political connection here creates an appearance issue when the DA's office publicly identifies a mistake by the incumbent sheriff's department during an active campaign. During early voting. Now, appearance is not proof, and I'm not saying anything is going on. I'm saying there are questions being asked. And a question is not conviction. Political relationship does not automatically disqualify from somebody doing their job. But elected officials should understand that unusual public actions taken during elections will receive additional scrutiny. Hello, my name is Additional Scrutiny. Now, I'm not saying that Courtney Lynch I'm definitely not saying that she dismissed these charges to help a candidate. She dismissed them because they were legally incorrect. But I am saying that her office voluntarily created a public narrative in which the incumbent sheriff's department brought 12 charges that the law would not support, and her husband holds an influential political position in the same county. And if he is actively supporting the other candidate for sheriff, that makes, or another candidate for sheriff, that makes transparency and consistency even more important. And the DA doesn't control every political activity of her spouse. I'm not saying that either. She can control how her own office communicates. She can explain the standard used to issue the release. And she can explain whether or not similar dismissals receive similar public treatment. Because the question has been asked. Prior to even reaching my attention, the question was being asked. Did she consider the appearance created by making the post during the race? Again, not an accusation, a simple question. If you're going to post something like that, which is out of the norm, and the timing of it, both the time of day, which was 8 p.m., which was unusual, but then being right in the middle of the early election, early voting process, it raises the question. We are in a small town. I get that. There are relationships between people, leaders of this community, that are very tight, very close. In this case, she is married to the head of the Republican Party. I'm not calling it an ethics violation. It's a Facebook post. But the question is raised. And I think that consistency in how it was handled and the relationship for the people of this community needs to be taken into account. I don't care about the feelings of the folks at the sheriff's department, and I don't care about the feelings of the DA. What I care about is whether or not they have the capacity to operate and do their job for victims in this community that look to them. Did the post serve public safety and victims and our community more than it raised questions? Was the language that was used necessary, or did it unnecessarily place the blame on another agency? That, again, in today's climate, people are looking at law enforcement under a microscope already. And I can already hear the response. Joe is stirring up drama. No. A public official issued a public statement criticizing, or at a very minimum, publicly correcting the work of another public agency. Asking why is not creating drama. The public post created a public controversy. The public post created drama. I reached out for comment. We had Sam Davidson on the other day, and he pointed out the fact that similar charges may actually be reapplied in this case due to the fact that the perpetrator in this case actually had an outstanding order of protection, ongoing order of protection, which kept him from acquiring and or having these firearms in the first place. So in a sense, unlawful possession. Now, the reasoning behind it may be different, but if that comes to fruition and these charges are reapplied just in a different manner for a different reason, it makes this post look even that much worse. Because at that point, it feels like the DA's office jumped the gun to point out a mistake that the sheriff's department made. You see where I'm going with this? At this point, this is what we've got. We've got an issue between these two offices that does not help anybody. My job is not to preserve a comfortable relationship between elected officials. It's not for you to like me. My job is to ask about whether or not their relationship is serving Franklin County to the best of its ability, to its full capacity. I'm not accusing anybody of a crime. I'm not claiming to know anybody's motive, private, personal, public, or otherwise. I am asking about an unusual public action and whether or not it was consistent and what it means going forward for the administration of justice in our community. That's all I'm doing. It was weird. It was weird. And anybody saw it who knows the process probably can't deny that. The timing of it was interesting. The language of it was interesting. So here's what I want. I'd love for the sheriff's department to explain how in the first place this mistake happened. I'd love for the district attorney's office to explain why the mistake was publicly highlighted. And both offices should probably explain whether or not the reported order of protection charges will come back. They need to figure that out together. Good luck with that, right? Because I don't care about anything other than the working relationship being healthy. That's what's the best interest for the community. We talk about this time and time again. Everybody picking up an oar and rowing in the direction. The direction, if you're wondering, the direction is putting individual pride aside and focusing on what's best for Franklin County. That's the direction. And it's a process to get there. It's a process of holding each other accountable. It's a process of working together. It's a process of learning how to agree to disagree. And I want victims to be able to know that people investigating crimes in our community, the people prosecuting these crimes, the people charging these crimes, that they're communicating with each other privately, responsibly, the way that their job requires, rather than communicating through Facebook. Rather than bashing each other publicly online. Maybe every one of the questions that I've asked today has a good and reasonable explanation. Transparency is not a punishment. It's not an attack. Heck, the DA with the Post brought it into the public conversation. The sheriff's department with their post about the initial charges brought it into the public's eyes. And now the public, I feel like, is entitled to a conversation regarding whether or not these two offices are operating well together, effectively together. That's what the public who elects these officials has a right to know. Transparency, Brandon Williams just said it in the chat. Transparency is a good thing, even if it's uncomfortable. It is a good thing. I think it's worth knowing the information that the DA's office put out there. It's worth knowing. We want to know that stuff. Is the sheriff's department doing their job and doing it correctly? That's transparency, and that's uncomfortable for the sheriff's department. But also in the long run, if you're going to do that on one case, we've learned this within government. There is such thing as, like, now you've set the precedent. The county commission votes on rezoning an area, and if they have a similar situation down the road, and they vote yes on the first one but no on the second one, they can legally be in a bind because they've set a precedent. The DA, by posting this, arguably set a precedent. Well, why is this one posted on Facebook, these charges? The DA, I would assume, from my understanding of the process, I would assume that the DA probably dismisses quite a few charges over the course of a month, a year, whatever. Why are these ones posted about publicly on Facebook and these ones not? That's a question that needs to be asked. That's a question that is being asked. Not necessarily by me. You got representatives within the sheriff's department asking that same question. All right. That'll do it for the show. I know we went a segment over or so, but I think it was worth it. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, getting involved in the conversation. I apologize if there's a bunch of folks who got into the chat and began having conversations about this. Please, I encourage you to be respectful to one another and continue having those conversations. The job is to not tear the community down. The job is, the goal is to make it better. So when you're having these conversations, be respectful to one another. That should be the direction. Everybody should be picking up their oar and rowing in that direction. Take a breath. Doesn't matter who you voted for. There are people in the chat who probably voted different ways than me. I don't represent one side of the thing. It's not about the sheriff's race per se. It's about the community as a whole. And that's what I encourage you to think about, is what's best for the community when I'm having these conversations with people. Is me saying this publicly helpful? Is it building us up or is it tearing us down? All right. Schubert, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for tuning in this morning. It is the starting lineup. We'll be back on the other side with Reliable Rentals Swap and Shop. This is ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.